Well, that was entertaining. I like to go to the sauna and enjoy a little bit of quiet time after I train and kind of collect my thoughts. Sauna is really good for you. Anyway, so I'm in there and there are people talking. It's a free country. And this guy, he's talking about how he got this motorcycle injury. I didn't know it was a motorcycle injury at first, but he was just talking. I'm not a part of the conversation, but I can't help but overhear it, and I'm sitting right next to them. So the guy's complaining that he can't move his hand and his arm the way he used to, whatever. Apparently got into a motorcycle accident. And this guy who's sitting next to him, apparently they didn't know each other because I later discovered that later into the conversation. But the simple fact of the matter is that this conversation blew up into a relationship conversation, and then the girls next to them got involved too. So basically this guy, he bought this 2024 motorcycle that he ended up getting to an accident riding. I don't know the condition of this bike right now, but he's trying to get out of it. He's trying to sell it. Apparently he spent $12,500 for it, and the guy says, what can you sell it for? He was like, I don't know, but it's not going to be what I paid. So the guy says, just sell it for $5,000 and walk away. The guy is like, well, I need the money so I can buy an engagement ring for my girlfriend. So this conversation continues to go on and on and on. So the guy who apparently doesn't know the other guy who got into the wreck, he's like, well, if I were, number one, you're already engaging in some high risk activity, so you can't be too surprised that you got into this accident. You know, it's highly probable to be into a motorcycle accident here in America. He's like, where I'm from, I think the guy's from like Austria or something like that. Romania or Albania, Romania, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, he says is way more likely to get into an accident here in America. And so then the guy, he goes, well, I was a really good rider, I was being cautious, and he explains the situation. Long and short of it, he swears up and down it wasn't his fault. The fact of the matter is that, look, he got into an accident. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Riding a motorcycle comes with risks, and whether you're willing to take it or not, that's on the rider. And it doesn't matter how good the rider is, you could still get hurt. Anyway, so the guy says, I want to sell this bike and buy an engagement ring with the money for my girlfriend. So the guy says he wants to spend $5,000 on an engagement ring. So the guy who is also in a sauna with us, he says $5,000 for an engagement ring. Like, it sounds like you don't really have the money for that. Meaning, like, if $12,000 for a bike getting wrecked is hurting you financially, it doesn't sound like you're in a position to spend $5,000 on an engagement ring. So he was like, if you really love this girl, you should be able to just give her like a $500 engagement ring, get married at the courthouse, and call it a day. So the girls, both of the girls ended up getting involved, but one of the girls says, $500 for an engagement ring, you can't marry me for that amount. And apparently that's not his girlfriend. So this conversation evolves from dude got hurt on a bike and why he can't move his hand or arm a certain way anymore, to trying to sell his bike. It becomes like this relationship, financial conversation. So the girl gets like offended, and it's like, look, he didn't offer you an engagement ring for $500, and I would never offer her anything with her freaking attitude. I mean, any girl who has some minimum price tag requirements on an engagement ring, that in particular, and really anything for that matter. Like, when a girl tells you that you have to spend X number of dollars for an engagement ring in order to be with her, oh, she's automatically off the list. And I can afford to buy pretty much whatever I want to buy, but like, a girl comes to me with that kind of attitude, and I'm not, I'm married, but I'm just saying, like, if I were single, that is the last kind of woman you want in your life. I promise you. If you ever want to have any kind of wealth, that type of mentality is straight up poison. And I always warn my son against like horrible women like that. That's a horrible woman. I don't care what she looks like. She could be a 10. With that kind of attitude, man, you better be careful with that one. And that's the last kind of woman you want to get pregnant.
Ask the question.
How much do you think an engagement ring should be?
So I said no more than 4K. She said 10.
Okay, now what's funny is that there's jewelry stores, the jewelry industry, they have people convinced that you have to spend a certain amount of money on an engagement ring. But I think it's interesting the difference between how much the girl thinks you should spend on a ring versus the dude.
10K is a lot.
I mean, if she's special, it's worth every dime, no?
The fact that I'm making...
Wait a second here. So now she's saying if she's special, then it's worth every dime. So are you trying to tell me that the more you love someone, the more you should waste on some piece of metal, some rare rock? Like, please, somebody explain to me the correlation between how much you love someone and how much you spend. That makes zero sense. There's zero correlation there. So are you telling me that the wealthier you are, the more money you have, the richer you are, the greater your ability is to love? Like, is your ability to love tied to your net worth? Like that's basically what that would mean based on her argument.
I mean, if she's special, it's worth every dime, no?
The fact that I'm making the step to commit to you, like, it's the meaning behind the ring. I'm not saying it'd be some cheap something, but you could get a nice ring for $4,000. And it's... So
now, I wouldn't put a price tag on it per se, personally. I think it depends on how much you want to spend. Everybody's going to be different. Some people won't even do rings. Some people don't do rings. Some people just do a $50 Amazon ring, just get a little, like a black tungsten ring or whatever the case is, But the thing is a lot of people will find themselves going into debt, taking out like credit cards, jewelry credit cards, store financing, 15, 20, 30% interest on a ring that's, let's be honest, guys, it's really not worth what they charge you. I won't say it's entirely worthless. There is some sentimental value, but the problem is that a lot of people find themselves buying these overpriced rings that are way outside of their financial reach.
$4,000 on your finger.
Well, it could be 10 though.
It could.
So how much would you guys spend on a ring? You guys tell me.
Not buy a diamond engagement ring until you know the secret. Hi, jeweler. I'm ready to propose to my girlfriend, but first I need a diamond ring. No problem. I've got the perfect 2-carat diamond that's on sale today for only $15,000. No.
Only $15,000. Oh, and by the way, we do have 36 months financing.
I need a moissanite ring. Oh, no, you don't want one of those. It's not even a real diamond. Hey, here's every reason moissanites are better than diamonds, and the last reason is the best. Actually, side by side, diamonds and moissanites are virtually indistinguishable by the naked eye. This is true. Then, on the Mohs scale that measures hardness, a diamond is a 10, and a moissanite is between a 9.25 and a 9.5. Yeah, so it's almost the same. How about the sparkle factor? A moissanite is even better than a diamond. Fortunately, this is also true. I left the best part for last. A nice 1.5...
So you're telling me that there are certain lab-created diamonds that look almost exactly like a diamond. In fact, virtually identical to a diamond with the naked eye, unless someone actually walks around with one of those like eye, oculars to see like, 100x magnification, which no one does. The diamond actually... or the fake diamond, this moissanite, which I never even heard of until now, apparently actually shines brighter. It looks like the dimensions and the weights are very, very comparable, and they're like a fraction of the price.
Moissanite is even better than a diamond. Fortunately, this is also true. I left the best part for last. A nice 1.5 carat diamond will cost you over $10,000.
Wow.
While the equivalent moissanite 1.5 carat will only cost you $700.
Wow.
Hey, it's all true, but who taught you this? Sam. He teaches me all the ways to make...
Wow, that is a no-brainer. Like, there's like, are you telling me that instead of spending like $11,000 on a 1 or 2 carat diamond ring, I could spend $600, $700 on a diamond ring and invest the difference into, I don't know, S&P 500, real estate, a business that'll actually generate a real return on my investment instead of wasting this money on some ring that I could, that my girl could like freaking lose or damage, destroy, or whatever the case is. That's a no-brainer for me, guys. Now, lucky for me, I actually got a good girl. Like, she was willing to listen to me. I'm more of a finance guy. Like, I've always just like been kind of nerdy like that, right? Just getting some gas. But I thought about something that I didn't mention in the video originally. So what we did was we did a little, cheap courthouse wedding. And what we did was, instead of investing $25,000 to $35,000 in some silly wedding while we were broke, we took that $25,000 and $35,000, that $25,000 to $35,000, and put it down on a house. So we bought a house that lasts us for years, potentially forever if you keep it up, or at least our lifetime. And it's funny because I was telling her, because her friends were pressuring us, oh, when you guys gonna get married? When you gonna get married? Because we were dating for a long time, and it was like, when you gonna get married? When you gonna have kids? That was so freaking annoying, constantly asking us that. Anyway, we were waiting to do both. I saw other people's lives. They had kids. They were not financially ready for that. And I looked at the amount of freedom that they lost by having kids. And I was like, yo, I'm not ready for that. And she wasn't ready for that either. But what we did see is we saw a lot of people asking us, when we going to get married, whatever. Everybody wanted to get in on this free party. So we bought a house instead of getting married the way that everyone else did. And that house today, we bought it for $200,000. That house today, we don't even live there. It's a rental property now. And the funny thing is that house is almost paid off. It's worth like $465, whatever Zillow said, like $475,000. So we basically took that same wedding investment, and that house basically pays the mortgage, it pays a large chunk of the mortgage payment for the house that we upgraded to. So it was like, it's so stupid. We took that wedding ring because they and that was a funny thing. When I was, when we were, I was about to propose to my girl, I went to Zales and all these other jewelry stores or whatever. What else was it? I think there was like Hellsberg Diamonds and Jared and these jokers. What's the other one? K Jewelry in the mall, and all these salespeople in there. They'd be making you feel like you got to spend a certain percentage of. There was some equation that they gave you, some percentage of your income. I was like, why? I was like, that makes no sense. And I asked them to explain why that's the case. Oh, that's just what the industry standard is. That's dumb. And then years later, I was curious because I had a conversation with somebody, and I looked at how much those people make, right? And they'd be making you feel like you need to spend a certain amount. And they got some expensive, and a lot of times they wear the jewelry that they sell, so they look like they're successful, and they try to make you feel like you need to be like spending so you don't seem like you're not successful. I was like, man, I look it up, man, these jokers ain't making nothing but 30, 40 grand a year. And I'm like, yo, this is such a scam. People out here staying broke, can't afford a place to live because they're wasting money on stupid stuff, and they just don't know any better. They get brainwashed by society and peer pressure to make stupid investments or stupid purchases, really. So instead of having a one-day $30,000 party for my friends, we selfishly didn't have a major wedding or anything like that. We got married at the courthouse, took that money, invested it into a down payment on a house, stayed in that house for 12 years, paid that mortgage down substantially, watched the asset value of the home appreciate over time. Then we moved out of it to a house that's, some people would say it's a waste, but it was what we decided to waste our money on, right? We bought a new house. The new house is like, 3 times the size of the old one, but it has all the amenities and stuff that we wanted. We're homebodies. Pool, theater, wine cellar, all sorts of rooms that we don't even use, but it's okay. That's what we wanted. That's what we saw value in. But that house that we bought a couple of years ago now is $300,000 more according to Zillow, it's worth $300,000 more than what we originally paid for it. So both investments have panned out pretty freaking well. You got to have a place to live, and you know, it's kind of cool to really love where you live. So this is why I just will. There's so many reasons why I would never spend a lot of money on a freaking ring. There's just, the value is just not there for me. I'm sorry. So many other places I would rather put that money, and I have the money to buy any ring that she wants. And it's just like, she comes to me like, why would we ever do that? And I'm like, I know, I know. So it's just so silly. I mean, I could invest in real estate. I could invest in the stock market. I could start a business. I could expand and scale my existing business. We could take trips. And even though a trip, it's like when you take the trip and you come back, the money's spent, and I would rather blow $5,000 on a trip than blow $5,000 on a freaking sparkly little ring. That's just my 2 cents, guys. The bottom line is, for me, buying some overpriced diamond ring, engagement ring, whatever, it's just a poor use of capital in almost all situations and scenarios.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go!
Anyway, so again, so the guy, he goes like, you know, what did he say? So basically, all right, $12,500 is what he paid for this 2024 bike. He wants to sell it. The other guy says, you should just sell it for $5,000, even if you have to take a loss. Get it out of your life. And I kind of see where I do see where the guy is coming from. That bike is a problem. The bike injured him. Well, he injured himself riding the bike. However you want to look at it, this bike led to him being injured. The bike is, you know, it only does what you tell it to do, you know, whatever. So, but again, you know, riding a bike you're putting yourself at risk. And so then the girl says, I would have to have at least a $5,000 ring, if not 10. Her argument, oh man, I just watched a girl ride by on the back of a bike just now as I'm talking about this. She has like a tank top on, no protection whatsoever. Anyway, her arms are out, whatever. So this girl says, well, I would need to have at least a $10,000. No, at first she said 5, but then she bumped it up. She was like, I should have at least a $10,000 ring. So the guy, not the guy who's talking about buying the ring, the other guy who's saying like you should get a $500 ring, he asked her, what entitles you to a $10,000 ring? Her response is, well, if he's willing to spend $10,000 or $12,500 on a bike, the least he could do is spend $10,000 on a ring. So that the guy goes, so the guy who suggested the $500 ring, he's like, look, you could literally go and get a lab created diamond ring and you would never freaking know the difference for less than $500. Probably way less than $500. You would not know the difference. I mean, you could lose your $10,000 engagement ring. You could lose your overpriced, you know, manipulated value, real authentic diamond ring that costs you 20 to 100 times more than a lab created diamond ring. And then what are you gonna do? You done freaking lost the diamond ring. And then they try to convince you that this diamond ring is an investment. And that is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. A diamond ring is not an investment. I don't care what you tell me. Now, me personally, I don't see the value in those things. I'll put something nice on my woman's finger, and in the meantime, we would rather put that money, and that's the thing, you know, it all has to do with the individual. I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but the way we look at things, we don't see value in stuff like that. A freaking ring? You kidding me? When we got together, we were broke as hell. We didn't have no damn money. We just financing no ring, $10,000. You absolutely out your freaking mind. I don't even know if I was driving a $10,000 car at the time. We decided to, I think I got a fake ring to start off with, and later on I upgraded and got a real ring, a real actual diamond, but it wasn't any more than $2,000. But anyway, when we first got married at a courthouse, and that was under 150 bucks. And we grabbed some food at a place that we eat at often. That was it. There was no ceremony. There was no wasting of money on all this nonsense. We were already taking vacations regularly, a couple times a year. So, we ended up taking a trip, shortly thereafter. But it's like all of this, I hate using this word hoopla, but I don't know what better word to use. This silliness, it is literally just a waste of money. Now, again, if you balling out of control, whatever, you could afford to do that, cool. But we were not, and we were just willing to admit it. We had friends that were broke as hell. They literally borrowed money from their parents, and their parents financed their weddings. I'm talking about to the tune, and it's like 20 years ago. I'm talking about $25,000 to $35,000 weddings when they didn't even have a home to live in. They were living in their parents' basement. So they spent $25,000, $30,000, $35,000 on these weddings, only to come back home after this one-day event, which is nothing more than some big party for all your friends. Is one of the biggest ripoffs in American culture. But basically, these folks ended up after the day, and the crazy thing is let any one thing go wrong and your whole day is ruined. You wasted 25 to 35 grand. Let the photographer not show up. Let the DJ not show up. Let the priest not show up. Let it rain that day. Now, I'm not talking about making it rain in a strip club. If it rains on your outdoor event, you're screwed. There are so many pieces to this perfect, a wedding day that could easily go wrong. Someone gets in, any one of these critical people who need to be there at this wedding could get into a car accident on the way. Wake up with COVID the 2 days before. Anything could happen. One situation, I was actually watching Lincoln Lawyer, which by the way is an amazing series. I love that series. One situation I heard was the wedding hall double booked the hall on the day that it was supposed to be available for the wedding. There's so many things that go wrong, but I'm just blown away by some of these overly entitled women. It is absolutely disgusting, and I feel bad for the men who don't know to look out for women like this. Like, the level of materialism for some of these women is absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like the quality of women today just keeps getting worse and worse. The level of entitlement is like, what are you bringing to the table? You don't even make no damn money yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just literally just irks me to no end to know that these people exist with these ridiculous demands, and then most of them wonder why they're single. They wonder why they're freaking single. So anyway, if you guys haven't already, hit the like button, share this video with somebody who needs to hear this, and let me know your thoughts, guys. Subscribe to the channel, check out my Patreon. I'll see y'all next time.